The Murder of Tiger by Lorraine Kelly for goldfieldstories.com.
Wimbah, who was better known as Tiger, was an Aboriginal man from the northwest. He was famous during his lifetime for being an intelligent, loyal servant of Mr. Jack Moher. Moher claimed that Tiger was a genius at gold-specking. The Coolgardie pioneer claimed he was the first to find gold at Bulong, originally known as IOU, 34 kilometers east of Kalgoorlie. Moher also claimed he discovered well-known patches in the Kimberley, Murchison and other fields due to his keen eye. Tiger was murdered by local Pindinnie Aboriginals on the 15th of October 1898. Tiger had been with Moher for over 9 years, accompanying him on expeditions in the northwest and the unexplored regions of the Goldfields. He was invaluable to them during these expeditions into hostile country, as he provided advice on the routes to travel, was a good shot, and he knew when conflict was inevitable. 3 months prior to his death, Messrs. Whitford & Co., butchers of Menzies, wanted to bring a mob of cattle from Ashburton to Menzies. They wanted Tiger's assistance and Moher agreed. They were successful, and while camped 3 miles east of Menzies, he was discovered murdered. Johnny Rowe, an Aboriginal assistant of Whitford & Co., reported the murder to Sergeant Duncan of Menzies. He stated that he was found dead in the bush near the Kensington Hotel, and that he was murdered by blacks. The Kensington Hotel was about 3 miles east of Menzies. Sergeant Duncan and Constable Hoy immediately set out with Rowe. They found his body lying 20 yards off the track to the Vindicator mine. Sergeant Duncan examined the body for some time before finding a small slit in the back of his waistcoat. After removing his garments, they found a small wound with congealed blood. Satisfied a murder had occurred, he returned to Menzies to fetch Dr. Quallis, Warden Owen, and native trackers. After examining the body, Dr. Quallis determined that the injury may have been caused by a spear, and that he had hemorrhaged internally. They moved his body to the police station in Menzies and the trackers began their work. They tracked Tiger's route back to his campfire where he was making a boomerang. It was evident he was making a boomerang as there was a carpenter's gauge in a partly made boomerang. There was also a billy can on the ashes of a fire that had burned out, and a parcel of food that would have been for his lunch. They found tracks of an Aboriginal man, and 20 yards out, there were traces of 8 other people's tracks. The evidence indicated that Tiger was stooping over his work while waiting for his billy to boil when he was speared. As soon as he was struck, he ran towards the Kensington Hotel. He was headed off by another Aboriginal at the spot he died. This Aboriginal removed his spear and joined the others. They then all headed off towards the 4 mile in a southwesterly direction. Parts of a broken woomera were found at the scene. It was reported that he may have been murdered as he had been living with a Pindinnie woman for some years, without permission from her tribe. 3 years after living with her, he ran into Marn's office in Coolgardie asking for firearms as he was being pursued by Pindinnie Aboriginals wanting revenge. These firearms were given and he warned them off. Some believe they finally caught up with him and murdered him years later. Another explanation given, that was deemed to be more plausible, was in relation to the mysterious death of John McInnes 3 weeks prior to Tiger's death. Tiger found his body, and due to the evidence surrounding the body, he confidently claimed that Pindinnie Aboriginals murdered him. The method of the burial in Pindinnie country, traces of Aboriginal fires, weapons and instruments, provided the evidence against them. Tiger was last seen that morning by Mr. Snowdown of the Kensington Hotel, passing by with the sheep he was minding. Shortly after, he witnessed Pindinnie Aboriginals following his tracks, but he didn't take enough notice of them to be able to identify them. The trackers were also unable to locate them, so they were never found. Tiger was buried in the Menzies cemetery. The burial expenses were met by the butcher Whitford & Company.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe. To keep in touch, please like and follow Goldfield Stories Facebook page or subscribe to the website blog at goldfieldstories.com. Thank you.